What's going on, Bryce Tim here, Dual Throw Outdoors. Here starting a new video series, starting tonight with top 5 soft plastic bait companies, with the next video after this being top 5 hard bait companies, and then ending up with top 5 overall bait companies. Now, there's going to be a lot of companies that are either going to be great with soft plastic or great with hard baits that are not going to make the final cut. Just throwing that out there right now. But I have a top 5, and I have an honorable and dishonorable mention to start. So, dishonorable for me, and in my opinion is the most overrated soft plastics bait company out there, is Zoom. Yes, Super Fluke's a good bait. It's the best, soft jerk bait out there in my opinion. And I like their truck trailers for cold water, but outside of that, I think the Z-Crawl and the Speed Crawl are extremely overrated, and I'm not a big finesse worm guy. I'm not saying they don't work. I'm not saying they don't catch fish. But in my opinion, especially for jig trailers, pretty much almost every bait company I'm doing here beats them for me. Not a bad company, but I definitely think they're overhyped. Now for my honorable mention that's just short of the top 5. This is a company that I started using their stuff about 3-4 years ago. Really great for Westbridge, Susquehanna River here. And that is a small company from Virginia, River Rock Custom Baits. They're my #1 choice for tube jigs. I like to throw a lot of tubes, as you saw in the previous video. It's my most underrated lake bait, and I've won money on these on lakes too, in addition to the river and tournaments. So River Rock Custom Baits, again, tubes are my favorite, but they also make some good swim baits that are very good for jigging in cold water, as well as some nice smaller crawls for micro jig trailers, stuff like that. They also make some single tail grubs. So my honorable mention, River Rock Custom Baits. Now for the top 5, number 5. Number 5 for me is a company that, since I really got into bass fishing was about 2010, 2011, and I've been using this company since back then. This is probably the company I've been using the longest of everybody on this list, other than one other that's going to give it a pretty good run for its money. But number 5 for me, a revitalized company, Cabin Creek Baits. Now, I also use some of their tubes as well, but in my opinion, River Rock's a little more durable. But what puts these ahead of River Rock for me are their express crawls. Easily for me, the most underrated jig trailer. Again, Cabin Creek's not a mainstream company. It's bigger than River Rock, but it's not it's not some of these other companies we're going to get to in the top 4. But these are awesome jig trailers. I've caught a lot of good bass on these, both, again, large and smallmouth, lakes and river. They also make a really good spider grub, which is something some guys throw, but the fish don't always see. These baits are a little bit low on the durability side compared to the River Rock, but they make some of the best colors. Mainly River Rock, but a couple colors here. Really good stuff. So Cabin Creek Bait Company, number 5, mainly because of their very underrated express crawl and their salty spiders. Number 4 is a company that kind of burst on the scene about 5-6 years ago, and now everybody knows about them. And they're known for one thing and one thing only, mainly, and that is being the most durable baits on the market. And they are. Z-Man. So this here happens just to be a Junebug TRD, great dirty water color. The TRD is still by far, there's been many imitators, but the TRD is still by far the best Ned rig bait you can throw, bar none. Basically any Z-Man progress, whether it's the TRD Crawl Z's, the Punch Crawls, the Bug Z's, the Hula Sticks, or the Tickler Z's, all great baits for the dead rig. But they also make some good chatterbait trailers. The Razor Shads are decent. Not my favorite chatterbait trailer, but they're probably second or third right there. I'll get to my favorite here next, actually. But again, also they make a few other good baits. They make some, trick shot worms, swim baits, stuff like that. But definitely the TRD Ned rig baits, probably my favorite. And then again, also the TRD Crawls, these are good for some finesse jigs. So number 4 on my list, Z-Man Soft Plastics. Number 3 on the list is probably the second most biggest mainstay on my list. Bait I've been throwing for a long time, and easily, once again, the best of its kind. Gary Yamamoto. And the Yamamoto Senko is still the best Senko ever made. You cannot beat green pumpkin, black flake. As long as the water is not muddy, it's going to catch fish, lakes, rivers, wherever. Everybody throws it, but everybody's still catching fish on it. It's just a great bait, especially clear water, just when they're lethargic, don't want to do a whole lot. But another bait they make that I really like is their hula grubs. Basically a fully plastic jig if you haven't seen them, double tail. And also their double tail grubs are an awesome jig trailer as well. And also they make, in my opinion, the best chatterbait trailer, the Yamamoto Seiko. Much, in my opinion, better action than the Razor Shads. That's one thing Z-Man lacks a little bit. Not quite as much action as some of these other baits, but they're less durable. So that's kind of a trade-off you take there. But definitely number 3 for me. Yamamoto baits. Gary Yamamoto. Great baits. Stood the test of time. Number 2 on my list. Strike King. Strike King is, they make a lot of great soft plastics. This might be my favorite jig trailer. It's close. It's close between this, the Double Tail, the Express Crawl, and the number 1 company I'm going to get to here in a minute. But caught a lot of fish in the Rage Crawl, both lakes and rivers, once again as a jig trailer. Caffeine Shad's another good swim bait. They make a version of a Z-Man Elastec bait, basically the Zeros. So you can Ned rig those. They make a couple colors Z-Man doesn't make. But, and even their, I don't remember the name, the Ochos. Their Ochos are pretty solid Senko. They're not Yamamoto, but they're still a solid Senko. Definitely a big Strike King guy, especially with soft plastics. And also, in my opinion, they make the best flipping bait, which is the Rage Buck. Awesome action. Just those Rage, I mean, when the water's warm, that is just some great action going through the water. So probably, in my opinion, the best action baits on this whole list. But number 2 on my list for soft plastics, Strike King. Now, number 1 on the list, in my opinion, this, and I'm going to talk about this as we go in the series, of the soft plastics and hard baits. This company really excels in soft plastics. Lots of good soft plastics, and that's Berkley. Berkley is my number 1 company for soft plastics. This is another one of my favorite jig trailers, the Chigger Crawl. Also comes in the Max Scent, which not very durable, but man, it gets bit. Whether it's the Chigger Crawl Max Scent, or the General, which is their version of a Senko, it's just a scent that they make. It's not like nothing else sold right now. No other scent sold. Probably best scented baits on the market. I'd go on the record and say that. Just a lot of good baits out there. They also make a couple chatterbait trailers. They also make a couple other different chunk jig trailers too. So hands down for me, number 1, Berkley. Whether it's the Power Bait line, the Max Scent line, whatever it may be. Awesome baits. They also make their own double-toed grubs as well. To me, and they also make a Max Scent fluke style bait, which I've caught fish on before. So again, you're gonna lose some durability with that Max Scent, but you're gonna get bites when other baits are not getting the bites. And to me, that Max Scent Senko is right up there with the Yamamoto, and at times they like it more than Yamamoto. So number 1 for me, my number 1 soft bait plastic company, Berkley. All these are great. All these will be in my box this year that were on the video. Even the dishonorable mention of Zoom, which I think is a little overrated. But that's my list. Now, one other one I'm going to mention that didn't make the list for me is Yum. Yum Dinger's a decent bait. So is the Christie Crawl, but to me, they're not the best options for either of those, in my opinion. I do have a one color I like throwing for the Yum Dinger, but I just think they're not quite as overrated as Zoom, but they're definitely not good enough to make my top 5. So this Team Remember come to you. Top 5 soft plastic bait companies. Berkley landing at number 1. Thank you for watching this Dual Throw Outdoors video. If you like this video, be sure to leave it a like, share with your friends, and subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Also, be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram for more Dual Throw Outdoors content.